Oh, well, isn't that nice? Let's talk about the greatest anime gaming franchise of all time, Ultimate Ninja Storm. I really believe this is the best anime gaming franchise ever. I mean, it's pretty much perfect with some not so perfect elements of it, which we'll talk about. But today, I'm going to be counting down and ranking every single Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm game from worst to best. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get straight to it. Looking back at Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, there's really not a lot I have to say about it. It's not bad by any means, it's just the worst out of the bunch that I can't really replay because, I mean, apart from the really cool animated cutscenes that it has, which, don't get me wrong, are very cool and definitely the highest selling point of Generations, but Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations just introduces a lot of things that I didn't like. For example, the log mechanic, instead of how it is in Ninja Storm 2 and 1, it's now just on sort of like a recharge constantly, and you get 4 every time, and it makes the whole, like, it makes every fight sort of like about mind games, and it feels like every combo is less earned. It's just not as fun or kinetic as the original Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and every Ninja Storm game going forward utilized that same mechanic, so I don't really like Generations for introducing that, but along with that, Generations just doesn't really have anything else. Hi everybody, editor's note, I completely forgot to rank Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution, so that goes as number 6 on this list. Sorry about that. Basically, Mecha Naruto's okay, and the Ultimate Ninja Storm World Tournament is nice, but that's about it. Honestly, for a brand new release, this game is straight cheeks. It is straight cheeks. This game is trash. Like, honestly, I could go another day in my life without playing this and nothing would change. You guys gotta understand that Storm Connections, I made a whole video about this, and it's basically just a demo for Storm 4, but priced at $60 fucking dollars. Or £75 in my case, because I bought the deluxe edition like an idiot. The story mode is really bad. The special story is a bit better. The only thing that puts it above Generations is that it's new and it has a lot more characters. And I'm looking at these games standalone, not just in the context of things. In context, this is the worst Naruto game ever released. If you want to hear me rant about this game properly and explain all the bad things about it, just go watch my last YouTube video about it. I explained it all there, so I won't waste your time with this. Finally, a good game, Ultimate Ninja Storm 1, baby. This game goes hard. The boss fights in this game, insane. They are really good. And yes, it's at the bottom of the numbered Storm games, but that's just a testament to how good the Storm series is in general, okay? I mean, it makes sense that the first game to release would be the last good one, if that makes sense. But yeah, Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 is really good. There's not a lot to say about it. I think it has the best free roaming aspects gameplay-wise of any of the Storm games with the story. I think Ninja Storm 2 actually has the best free roam in general, but when it comes to like the movement, the micro combat, stuff like that, Storm 1 has it beat. Storm 1 is really good. It's just a shame the character roster isn't up to par with the other games, but there are some additions in this game that aren't even in future games. Stuff like wall running isn't even in it until Storm 4 again. Other stuff like combo clashes, you know, when you throw jutsus at each other and they clash and you gotta mash the buttons together, goes hard. The boss fights go hard, the story's pretty hard. It's just a very hard game. It's very good. It's just a shame that it's below the other games because the other games are just so good for it. But yeah, a very good game in general. Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 is 4th on this list. Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 is real good. It's really good, okay? I mean, there's not a lot to say about it that I can't say about the other games on this list, so I'm going to keep it a little brief. But Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 is what I consider the midpoint of the Ultimate Ninja Storm franchise in that it's not reached its full potential yet, but it's also improved dramatically from its predecessors. The character roster is great, the story mode is really good, however, there is one thing that this game is held back by, and that is its boss battles in the story mode. The story mode is really good because it is just non-stop, fight after fight after fight after fight. just story after story after story. It doesn't take long pauses or anything. However, there are so many battles in this game that I don't understand why they were just made normal battles and fights when they should have been boss fights. I mean, Itachi and Nagato versus Naruto and Killer Bee isn't a boss fight, but Choji fighting the Geto Mazo and I think it's Team 10 or Team 8 or whatever they're called, versus Asuma is, again, another boss battle. And it's like, why? Why are these big important fights not boss battles, but the weak ones are? And don't get me wrong, there are some really good boss battles in here. Like you're seeing on screen right now, Naruto vs. Kurama, obviously the final battle as well with Madara. But in general, like, there just needs to be more boss battles. Either more boss battles, or they need to switch up which are and aren't boss battles. That would be my only complaint. And that's the only thing that holds Ninja Storm 3 from being in the top 2. I imagine most people are wondering why Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is second on this list and not first. Well, we'll get to that later, but let's talk about Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 first. This is by far the most polished version of Ultimate Ninja Storm. It just is, without a shadow of a doubt. This is it at its peak. This is, I mean, it has probably, I think, the most amount of boss fights out of any game. It has probably some of the best boss fights out of any of the games. It has one of the best stories, not the best story, we'll get into that, but one of the best stories in all of these games, and it has some great moments. It's hard to really say why this is second and not first, but like I said, we'll get onto that. But let's talk about where Storm 4 falls. This is not a perfect game, let's just be real. There are some things that really make me think, when playing this game. For example, the story cutscenes just aren't it. Yes, there are a lot of 3D animated cutscenes which are very welcomed, very nice, love them, thank you very, very much. However, there are also a lot of cutscenes which are literally just screenshots from the anime that are just placed in the slideshow. Much like Storm Connections, which is a big problem I have with that game. And honestly, it's hard to keep track of the story when that boring screenshots are just playing. Like, either give me the actual anime or just don't show me screenshots at all, because honestly, it really takes you out the experience when playing the story mode of this game. The online was probably the best it's ever been in this game, and the costumes, again, best they've ever been, but it really is just that story mode that lets it down. And for me, personally, Ultimate Ninja Storm, the franchise, shines the most in those story mode sections, and that's why it's number 2 and not number 1. There's not a lot anyone could do to convince me to tell me that this isn't the best game of the franchise. It's perfect in my opinion. I think it's the perfect video game. Like, I mean that. In terms of Ultimate Ninja Storm, I think this is where it peaks. Yes, the character selection isn't as big as, say, Storm 4 or even Storm 3, but I think the gameplay's perfect. I think the story's perfect. I don't think there's anything in this game that isn't peak Naruto. Like, the story, I mean, even just the storytelling, the narrative, the time period they're telling in this game is the best in the whole franchise, in my opinion. I think early Shippuden, Sasori, Deidara, the Kazekage Rescue, the Pain Arc, Itachi, I think that is the best Naruto storytelling in all the franchise. Don't get me wrong, love the War Arc, it's nice, but it's not early Shippuden nice, you know what I'm saying? And this has the best boss battles in any single Ultimate Ninja Storm game, by far. Like, it's just a boss rush, basically. But the open world is so good. Only beaten by Ultimate Ninja Storm 3's open world, in my opinion. But still, I mean, it's so good. There's no silly anime cutscenes where, it's just screenshots played on a slideshow. There's no silly cutscenes put there for no reason. The boss fights are quick, dynamic, and just amazing. There's nothing I hate more in an Ultimate Ninja Storm game than repeating the same combos over and over again, doing the same crap over and over again. And in Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, that's not what happens at all. In Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, when you're fighting a boss, it is like you just get to do new shit constantly. It's like, oh, on to the next wave, 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 all the time. It's really, really fun. And there's really nothing that can beat it. I think this is the best Ultimate Ninja Storm game. And I think it's the best Naruto game in general. I think it's the best anime game in general. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's not a lot you're going to be able to do to convince me otherwise. It's perfect. It's like, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. I think the log system's perfect in this game. I just think it's really good. The only thing I think could be improved on is some stuff from Storm 4 to polish it up. Stuff like switching between characters in the middle of a fight in the assists, you know, wall running again, jutsu clashes like from Ultimate Storm 1. But I think in general, this is the best Ultimate Ninja Storm game. Yeah, there's not a lot really else to say, so I'll leave you with that. Now that's my list and a ranking of all the Ultimate Ninja Storm games from worst to best. However, I'm curious to hear what your guys's are. Let me know in the comments how you rank each Storm game. No, I won't be mad if you put Generations at 1 or Revolutions at 1. I mean, I will be pretty mad if you put Connections at 1 though. That game stinks. But apart from that, you know, you rank yours in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video because it helps me out a lot, and I will personally give you a thumbs up in real life if you ever come up to me and tell me, hey Logan, I liked your last video. I'll give you a little thumbs up. I'll say, hey, thank you. Give you a little thumbs up. I'm just waffling now, but thanks for watching, and please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.